Hello everyone, Austin again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Chickenbacker 325. It's the third video in the saga. I made a couple different videos over the years, and the last video, I basically put the PAF, humbucker, bowtie, and the Bigsby bridge, but I wasn't satisfied with the guitar, and this was 3 years ago. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, the basic rundown is this guitar I got from Rare Electric Guitars 8 years ago before there was the whole AliExpress thing. And so this was like the first kind of like John Fogerty kind of guitar. But this is what it looked like 3 years ago. Um, it was more of a reddish orange kind of thing. And it was unplayable. This neck joint is really weak. It's really small. So over the years, the neck just started going like this. Here's a photo from my last video. So basically the action was unplayable. It was just horrible. And so what I did was I removed the neck, filed it down and did all kinds of different stuff I'll go into later. But I converted it into a bolt-on, and I'm able to shim it and get it to the angle I want. So I'm going to be talking about all the modifications I've done to this guitar. If you don't care about that, you can skip to the sound demo. So first I took the neck off by steaming it with a kettle that I fixed a hose to, and then a small little bicycle pump valve, and basically drilled a hole and stuck it in there, and basically it steamed the neck off, getting the glue nice and warm, and it just came right off. And then basically I sanded down the guitar in the meantime and actually refinished it because there was lots of chips all over the guitar and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to update it. It was a little too orangish for my taste.
Here's my genius swivel.
Currently sanding back the filler so that it's uniformly smooth. So the sanding sealer is sitting in a Lysol container filled with hot water, and this is keeping it down so it's not completely submerged but almost to the top, so that the majority of the can gets heated up before I spray it, so that the mist comes out nice. So I got the Mac lacquer set, and I went and basically did my first burst finish.
On the third coat, it started sputtering really bad, so I didn't know what to do. So I put lacquer thinner on it, and yeah. So now I'm gonna have to sand this down.
I've done dyes before and clear coats, but this was my first time doing an actual lacquer finish with a burst. So I was doing pretty well. Got the amber coat on there, and then I got the cherry red, and it looked exactly like the color. But then a mistake happened, and I always make mistakes. And so basically, a fly got caught in the lacquer, and I decided to try to get it off with like a towel or something like that, but it was just sprayed on. I just applied the coat on there, and it was in the clear coat stage too. And that basically melted all the finish underneath it together, and then it just wiped off. And that finish was ruined. So basically what I had to do was, I didn't have any cherry red left. I used it all. So I basically had the darker red mahogany, and I kind of went overkill on it because there was a big hole, and I was trying to fill that in with the color to kind of mask it. So I went overboard with the red mahogany, and I ended up loving the burst on it because you don't see a lot of Rickenbackers except for the bases with the darker red around the side. So I really am pleased with that. even though it was a mistake, it was a happy one. Basically, I let the guitar sit for a month. I decided that the neck was a little too red because I didn't finish it at all. It was the same stock color. So I actually went with Rust-Oleum pans and did a little feather kind of, I kind of feathered it and kind of got it to a spot I want and did like a painted on coat that I'm not too happy with, but it looks kind of like relic almost. It's kind of a weird thing. So the buffing was real good, but some water got in and made some cracks. I don't know if you can see that there. You can see it bulging. I had to figure out how to get this guitar playing again, and I decided to do a bolt-on neck. And I basically cut down as much as I could through any technique I could figure out. To try to route down the neck flat. And then I tried building up the cavity itself. So I took the piece that was cut and glued it on here. And then the piece that broke off, I put it on here for some extra meat. Still not flat, so I came up with this jig to get this level. So I routed it out and got everything kind of the way I wanted it flat. And so I put the screws in there. First the guide larger screws, and then went through with the pilot holes and did 4 or 5 screws, getting that. And I got it to a point where I like it, but I could also shim it if it ever kind of starts tilting up again. Okay, so right now I already did, so crowned these before, but it's kind of still high. The frets are still high from here to here. I'm gonna do some touch-ups here and then really flatten it out towards the back. So these are the old pickups. So this is how it sat in there, and this was the cover. And then you'd see this is actually a humbucker with 2 just rod magnets. Here's the single coils with the pull pieces. And then I had to get the wiring back together, which was really difficult because I do not know anything about electronics and stuff like that. So I'm not getting any signal from this pickup and amp from this. I'm going to swap this with this one, and it'll be like John Lennon's. Pretty ironic. This is how it ended up going, and it's working now. So overall, since I worked on the guitar, it's got some dings all over it just from like setting it down and stuff like that. So I'm a little disappointed in some cases. There's some chips coming off from the paint. But I mean, it looks kind of relic in a way, so it's kind of cool. But other than that, the way it's playing, I'm really happy with how it's been sounding. It just sounds so much better, especially with the single coil. So overall, I'm very, very stoked and very happy that this guitar is working again. And I'm going to start doing some more Creedence covers in the future, so stay tuned.